Hey y'all. So I've been watching some YouTube channels lately, and there's a lot of talk, a lot of discussion about this $1,000 a month budget that seems to be so popular in Thailand. So today I want to talk about thriving versus surviving. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This video from Keys One, great YouTuber, definitely want to watch his channel, puts out a lot of great stuff, and he's a really good videographer. I enjoy his content just for the videography, as well as the information he's putting out. But here's his video he put out the other day, the harsh reality of the $1,000 per month living in Thailand budget, and this is how it started.
Can you live in Thailand on $1,000 a month? Yes, I've done it. Are you really living? No.
Hold up. Let's talk about thriving versus surviving. Let's start with this. Everyone's different, right? We all like different things. We have different values, different standards of living, and different budgets. So you're absolutely unique in this world, just like everybody else. See what I did there? So with that as the foundation, my definition of thriving may not be the same as yours. That just means yours is wrong. I'm kidding, kidding. It just means we're different. So I'm not saying Adam is wrong. It's just his opinion. It's just his definition, his way of living. It's not the same as mine. Let me show you. Now, I've talked about this in other videos that I have done. I keep a spreadsheet of all of my spending. This is my budget. Look what I spend. 700, 800. There's where I bought my motorbike. 800s were when I was living at the condo in Jomtien. 700s now in the house in Bangsadeh. And here's what's included in that. My rent, electricity, water, internet. I still have a Netflix subscription. My US phone number, my Thai phone number, my food expense for the month, and my health insurance. So as you can see, I'm well under $1,000 a month with all of my basic expenses. Now that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be things that will pop up, extra expenses that you're not expecting. It also doesn't mean that I can't travel and do things that I enjoy, because one of the things that I wanted out of my retirement and one of the reasons why I chose Thailand was so that I could travel more throughout Asia and throughout the world, because by reducing my cost of living here, that would free up money in my budget to go there. Sadly, many people who are old enough to retire can't afford to retire, and many are going to work until the day they die. I saw a news story recently where a lady, a worker at Wells Fargo, where I used to work, died at her desk and wasn't found for 4 days. Now, granted, it was over a weekend, but when I was at Wells, I had my own office, and many times I was the first one into the office, so the lights would come on when I walked in. I would go into my office, close the door behind me, and I wouldn't see anyone all day long until I walked out of the office and went home. So if that had been me, I'd have probably been there more than 4 days before anyone noticed. It's a tragic story, and I feel sorry for her family. I'm sure at 60 she had plans to work just a little bit longer, and then there was no longer. We don't know if we're going to have a little bit longer. We don't know if we're going to have the rest of the day. Most of the people who died this morning had dinner plans for tonight. It's time to live your life, time to thrive, but you can't just survive. Maybe you don't have to move around the world to thrive, but maybe if you did, you could. In many places, it's much more affordable to live than where you might be now. Maybe you can't afford to retire where you are. I know I couldn't, and frankly, I was making a very good salary. It was just too expensive to live in America and not work. I guess people do, but I wouldn't be able to maintain a good standard of living, or at least to my standards, not the way I wanted to live. It's just too expensive. I knew other countries had lower costs of living, but I never really sat down to do the math. And when I did, I learned that I could live for years off of what I had in cash savings and from investment income. I didn't need to wait for a retirement plan or Social Security to kick in. I could start enjoying life right now. So I left. Now that I'm here though, I don't have that very nice banking salary still coming in. My budgeting is important. I need some coffee. Let's go. You know, I've always been pretty frugal or practical in my life, but living here on a much tighter budget isn't the same. I watch my spending, but I don't really worry about what I'm spending. Now, there are times when, like last week, when I took a trip to Portugal, you know, during that trip and for a few days after, yeah, you have a little bit of buyer's remorse because I start to think, wow, what I just spent on a 6-day trip is how many weeks of living in Thailand? But I can't get wrapped up in that. I have to keep reminding myself that I've got that built into my budget. And one of the reasons I wanted to retire here was so that I would have that better budget that would allow me to go and travel and see and do more. And you know, I was gonna make coffee, but I got a better idea. Thriving isn't just about finances, though. The big question is, am I really happy now? Does my life in Thailand bring me the happiness I had hoped for? Well, I've been here almost a year now. I rent a cute little cottage in a quiet little town. I'm not nearly as stressed out as I was in the US, but a lot of that comes from not working anymore. So we can't give full credit to Thailand for that one. I love the warm weather. Rainy season has its grade A blahs at times, but that's temporary. I love the food, the markets, all the little coffee shops, coffee carts, and the people are just fantastic. You know, when I was in Portugal recently, I was taking the train to go shoot video of a town, and something struck me. I was looking around and realized nobody was smiling. The people on the train, the people in the streets and in the cafes, they weren't as happy and smiling like they are here. I think I'd only been gone 4 days and I was already missing Thailand. New housing development going in up at the corner. And while I was away last week, looks like they're starting some construction over here. Don't know what that's going to be yet. Interesting to see what happens. A lot going on in Bangsaday. It's really growing. A good example of what rainy season is like. This way, blue sky. Here comes trouble. The last few weeks, the mornings have been great, but after about 11 o'clock, the storms roll in. That smiling and happiness here will really rub off on you. Same thing as in Portugal. That grumpiness and sourness, that'll rub off on you too. I know what I'm gonna have for lunch today. I got a recommendation to try those noodles, so I think that's gonna be it. So back to the original question that started all this. Can you live on $1,000 a month here and be happy? The answer is it depends. It depends on you and what you want. Am I happier here? Absolutely. This little shop is Okiere Coffee. Now, Okiere is Japanese, I'm told, for welcome back home. The owner, O, here is very proud of his shop. He makes a fantastic coffee. Now, it is a slow bar. All of the espressos, as you can see, are hand pulled. So this isn't a shop to come to if you're in a hurry or want to grab a coffee and go. But if you're like me and you like to sit down and enjoy a good cup of coffee and just relax, this is definitely worth checking out next time you're in Bangsaday. And there's a good chance I'll be sitting here having a coffee too. So back to the original question. Am I really happier here? Yes. Yes, I am. Is it perfect? No. But nothing is. I'm in a better place, seeing new things every day, and enjoying my retirement. You know the saying, you can't fix stupid, but duct tape can quiet it down? Well, Thailand won't solve all your problems, but it can make things a whole lot better for you. I'll see you in the next one.